Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and today I've got something a little special for you because we absolutely slammed our way all the way through Diamond with this thing and got to Mythic with a 90+% win rate. Absolutely insane. This deck is called New World Order. And what better day than Inauguration Day to make a legendary human tribal deck and use it to just run roughshod over the entire ranked ladder? That's exactly what we did. Whether or not you think that this is a good day or a bad day, you can't deny that legendary creatures are taking office, and now they're taking up a spot on the ranked ladder apparently. So anyway, we are going to break down the deck and go right into the gameplay, but I am happy to report we are in Mythic. This deck got us all the way there, barely lost at all, and it's kind of insane. You have to see it to believe it. Before we break down the deck, make sure you like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new so you never miss an upload. Tons of crazy stuff on the way. Aether Drift spoiler season is about to start tomorrow at the time of the posting of this video, and we are going to hit the ground running. Tons of crazy spoiler content right out of the gates, so look forward to that. Also catch me live Monday through Friday over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/quarantinecapricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. The New World Order is here. I don't know if that's a good thing. Maybe, maybe not. Let's find out. Alright, so this deck is really simple, and it's super cool. We're going human tribal, and we're sort of cross-pollinating that with legendary tribal in a way. The deck is really interesting, and it's sort of built off of the bones of a deck that I did a number of weeks ago called Mad Mardigan, where it was Mardu human / soldiers. This one is going super deep on just straight up humans and not necessarily the soldier stuff, but we have some new cards in here and a fourth color that just takes it to the next level. So the basic premise of this deck is that we're using Alesha, who laughs at fate, to get insane value over the course of the game. 3 mana for a 2/2 first strike legendary human warrior. Whenever she attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on her, and the most important part is you have a raid ability. At the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, you return target creature card with mana value less than or equal to Alesha's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. So what you want to do is maximize your chances at triggering that the exact turn that you play it on turn 3. So we have a lot of 2-drops that can swing in, trade with our opponent's creatures on turn 3. We can slam Alesha, immediately get back that 2-drop with the raid ability, and it gets absolutely nutty. Just insane value for the rest of the game. But we take it one step further by pairing it with Guardian of New Benalia. 2 mana for a 2/2 human soldier with Enlist, and whenever Guardian of New Benalia enlists a creature you get to scry to, you can also discard a card to give it indestructible until end of turn. So with Guardian of New Benalia on the field, not only is this a 2-drop that we can do the thing with Alesha if we want, but we have this discard outlet that also gives it indestructible. So we can swing in, don't even have to worry about our opponent's blockers, and if they try to kill the Guardian, we can discard any creature we want to protect it. And as long as that creature's a 2-drop, it's immediately going to come back with Alesha. So we take what's already insane about Alesha, and we just amp it up. It's kind of bananas. And now we're introducing a new piece of the puzzle by going 4 colors and introducing green by using Honest Rutstein. 3 mana for a 3/2 legendary human warlock. When Honest Rutstein enters, you return target creature from your graveyard to your hand, and then creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So if they do manage to somehow kill your Alesha, you can use Rutstein to just get the Alesha back, and then you can use Alesha to get back Rutstein. If they then kill your Rutstein, it creates these insane loops where like they just can't ever keep your stuff gone forever, and it's bananas. And since all of them are humans, it allows us to go for color using some of the tribal lands and using things like Plaza of Heroes, you know, alongside Cavern of Souls and Secluded Courtyard to actually consistently get all 4 colors of mana so that we can cast these things. And it's insane. It's a 4-color aggro deck that functions like an aggro deck, that doesn't play tapped lands, that starts as early as turn 1 just jamming a 1-drop and keeps on the pressure every single turn and never runs out of value. It's absolutely bananas. We have a bunch of cards in the deck that kind of go along with that concept. So we're using 4 Invasion of Gobakhan. We can sort of maybe hit their sweeper, delay them casting some big spell, put them off their tempo or off what they're trying to curve out with. But then it's super easy to just swing in at the Light Shield array, flip it, and now all of our attackers are getting +1/+1 counters every single turn, and we have another backup way of protecting our board by giving everything hexproof and indestructible when we sacrifice the Light Shield array. So it's another way of making sure Alesha stays alive so that we could just keep utilizing that value over and over and over again. And because we constantly want to be attacking every single turn to use that raid ability anyway, and we have ways to mitigate the damage of attacking, the losses that we accumulate while we attack, it just makes something like Invasion of Gobakhan that much better, because the more consistently you can swing in at it and you're not worried about keeping back blockers, the better this is going to be. The more consistently you're going to get Light Shield Array online, and this deck is just kind of made for it. We're also running 4 copies of Sheltered by Ghosts as our removal of choice. Obviously, this card needs no introduction. Absolutely insane. Exile anything, plus give your best creature Ward 2 and lifelink and buff its power. As long as you can keep that creature alive, this card is insane. And this deck does that so well. We can use the Gobakhans to keep everything alive. We can put this on a Guardian of New Benalia so that we have that discard outlet to give it indestructible and keep it alive so that they can't kill the thing that Sheltered by Ghosts is on and they can't get back their stuff. It's absolutely bananas. And as if that wasn't enough for Sheltered by Ghosts, we're kind of running 5 because we're also running 1 copy of Kellan the Fae-Blooded. Not only is this a human that's really easy to cast with our tribal lands and with our Plaza of Heroes and all of that, puts more pressure on the board, but it has an adventure birthright boon, so for 2 mana we can search our library for an aura or equipment card, reveal it, and put it into our hand. So if we need another copy of Sheltered by Ghosts, we just fetch it up with Kellan, and then we have extra gravy in the form of Kellan itself that can come down and contribute to our board state. It can maybe die and come back eventually with like a Rutstein, which would bring it back to our actual hand so that we can actually use the birthright boon all over again. Just a lot of crazy synergy. Another ridiculous 3-drop we're running in this deck, just 1 copy, is Anim Pakal, because since we're swinging every single turn and always getting that value off of the raid trigger on Alesha, we can kind of double down on that sort of strategy with Anim Pakal, get a ton of value off Anim Pakal, just because we're going to be swinging every turn anyway. The entire deck is built around swinging every turn, so we're always going to get these triggers and get that value. And as soon as Alesha gets just 1 +1/+1 counter on her from swinging in and triggering that ability, now she's big enough to trigger that raid and get back something like an Anim Pakal or a Kellan as well, so there's extra value there as well. We're also running 4 Coppercoat Vanguards because, as if it wasn't hard enough to kill everything on our board, now we have a 2/2 for 2 that's giving all of our humans +1 attack and ward 1. So we make it even harder. They have to pay even more mana to target things, and then we just get that stuff back or protect it with indestructible anyway. So it's absolutely insane. And if we have the Vanguard out and we have the Shelter by Ghosts on something, the ward stacks, so we end up having like ward 3, absolutely bananas. We're also running 1 copy of Jirina, Dauntless General. For 2 mana, it comes in as a 2/2 legendary human soldier. When it enters, we get to exile target player's graveyard, which means if we start looping this every turn with something like Alesha and just keep sacrificing it, we can basically exile our opponent's entire graveyard every turn for the rest of the game, which is kind of nuts. But we can also just protect our entire board with her every turn as well, because we can sacrifice her at any time to protect all of our creatures, including the Alesha, and then just use the Alesha's ability to bring it back at end of turn, rinse and repeat every single turn. Absolutely insane. We're running 1 copy of Inti, Seneschal of Sun. This digs for cards that we need, puts another counter on something, gets us card advantage. Absolutely nuts, but it's also another really good discard outlet. So if we just need something in the graveyard to get back with an Alesha or to get back with an Honest Rutstein, so we're not giving up that value, we now can just discard something to the Inti, and then we have it to get back later, which is really, really nice. We're also going to run 1 copy of Cathar Commando. This is the kind of card where if we're playing a best of 3 version, there's absolutely going to be another 2 or 3 copies in the sideboard, because it is the perfect card to use for removing artifacts or enchantments in a deck like this. Comes down as a 3/1 with flash for just 2 mana. Pay 1 and sack it to destroy any artifact or enchantment, and because we're using Alesha, this can just keep coming back every single turn with Alesha's raid ability and keep being sacrificed to destroy more artifacts or enchantments. So it's just reusable artifact and enchantment destruction every single turn. Absolutely worth at least one copy. I wish I could include more, but this deck is just jam-packed with so much value that even fitting the one was difficult, and as long as we get that one online, we can just keep using it every turn. So that one is worth a whole lot more than one. But we're also running a ton of 1-drops because we want to get everything on the board as quick as possible and be an aggro deck, be super aggressive. Part of what makes this 4-color mana base so good is that all of the lands come into play untapped, and it doesn't slow us down the way most multicolor decks are slowed down. We can still play this like it's an aggro deck. It still functions just as efficiently as a monocolored aggro deck, which is kind of bananas. So we're running 9 1-drops so that we can consistently have one on turn 1. 4 of those are veteran survivors, because as they are tapped, we get this survival ability where we can exile stuff from our opponent's graveyard, and then eventually if we exile enough things, it becomes a 5/4 with hexproof, which is nice. It's another way of fitting in some auxiliary graveyard hate into the deck, and we can even tap it down with our enlist ability with Guardian of New Benalia, so it's perfect. We're also running 1 Skrelv Defector Might. It is the only card in the entire deck that isn't a human, at least the only creature card that isn't a human, but it's absolutely worth the slot. It is legendary, so we're only going to run 1, but having another way on top of everything else that we have to just protect our board state is kind of insane. We can play it with mana from Plaza of Heroes as well, which is why we very carefully split up our tribal lands and our legendary lands like this, with 3 copies of Plaza of Heroes, 4 copies of Cavern of Souls, and just 2 copies of Secluded Courtyard. We're also running 1 Kellan, Planar Trailblazer, because he's just worth a ton of card advantage over the course of the game. If they don't deal with him, you can eventually level him up, especially if you're out of gas and out of cards to play. You can sink that mana into leveling up. He eventually becomes a 3/2 double striker, gets you card advantage every time he hits in for combat damage. Absolutely worth running a copy. And then the other 3 cards to round out our 9 1-drops are 3 Recruitment Officers, because as long as we can get to just one of these and get its ability online, we can have an endless supply of value over the course of the game. 2/1 for 1 mana, but we can pay 4 mana, look at the top 4 cards of our deck, and reveal a creature card with mana value 3 or less from among them, put it into our hand. Almost everything in the deck is a creature card with mana value 3 or less, so this is almost always going to hit. And I think 3 is the magic number so that we can consistently get one of these throughout our games. But we don't necessarily need all 4 copies. I think it's better to make room for that 1 Skrelv or 1 Kellan and keep Veteran Survivor at 4 copies, since it's worth more on the battlefield in its 2nd or 3rd copy. The last card I want to talk about is we're running just 1 copy of Thalia and the Gitrog monster. This is the only card in the entire deck that costs more than 3 mana, so you do have to put in a little bit of extra work if you want to pull it out of the graveyard with Alesha, but it's super awesome in this deck. 4 mana for a 4/4 first strike death touch, which means they almost have to kill it with removal. They almost can't possibly trade with this in combat, which is amazing in a deck like this because everything in the deck protects our creatures from removal and forces them to have to trade in combat. So Thalia is the perfect addition, but also all of its abilities help. You play an additional land on each of your turns. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter tapped, so they have less blockers, and they can't utilize haste creatures against you. But most importantly, whenever Thalia and the Gitrog monster attacks, you get to sacrifice a creature or land and then draw a card. So it's another way for you to sacrifice things that you're just gonna bring back with the Alesha, or if you're desperate, the Honest Rutstein, to just get even more card advantage, draw even more cards, and go completely over the top. So I kind of think this deck is insane. I'm going to be running it in Mythic for sure. It got us to Mythic, only losing a couple of games along the way. Probably has a 90+% win rate right now, to be completely honest, and I absolutely love it. So you can expect to see a lot more from me as far as a deck in the vein of this. I'm hoping when we see Aether Drift drop, we'll get some more cards that can be slotted into a deck like this. Super interesting build, and I'm kind of in love with it, but I'm gonna stop rambling now because you have to see the games, so let's do it. This looks good. The only problem with this is we won't be able to play any Gobakhans or Sheltered by Ghosts if we get them with this mana base. But I think the hand is solid enough that that's okay. We're gonna keep it. We'll have time to draw into another land, right? So we'll start here with a Skrelv. Kill it now or forever hold your peace. Alright, he's gonna play the Pyromancer. That's fine. You think I'm scared of you? You lizard, gizzard, wizard. It's fine. I ain't mad. It is okay. Human. More human than human. Let's play Guardian of New Benalia. Sip some Nectar of the Gods and pass the turn. When it comes to mono red, all you have to do is stay alive. If you can keep your life total at half or more health, they probably just lose. Do it. Do it, old maid. Do it, old maid. We're gonna chuck another Guardian. We're gonna name Human. We want to get that Guardian out of the yard for sure. So we'll attack with this Guardian. He's gonna let it through. We'll go Alesha. End the turn. Grab another Guardian. There's no way. There's no way you're getting through, buddy. That's fine. We'll let you hit us for 3. You didn't even use the Rock Face Village. Wild. We'll go to 11. We will go to 11. We're gonna play Coppercoat Vanguard. Move to combat. We want to enlist one of these, I think. Like this. We want to attack with Alesha to get the counter for sure. It's a little late for the Gobakhan. I don't think we need it. We could use the land though. Since we have the Skrelv, we do have access to white through our Plaza of Heroes. So we could have played the Gobakhan. You fool. You fool! Now that we discarded Kellan, we'll go Recruitment Officer, end the turn, get back Kellan, and just win next turn. Pyromancer, sure. We go to 9. Case. Day late and $1 short. Is he going to be crazy and try to attack us? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Hold on, hold on. We can't enlist because of the Screaming Nemesis. We could take 5 from the Screaming Nemesis because of Alesha. Let's go like this. 5 attackers. Red. So we're not going to take 5 by you blocking with the Screaming Nemesis. We're only going to take 3. We're only going to take 3, sir. And whatever you kill can just come back with Alesha. So we don't even necessarily have to keep our Guardians alive with Indestructible. We can just play the Plaza, play the Rutstein. Gonna block Kellan. And gonna block the Recruitment Officer. Sure. You go to 3. Your guys die. We take 3. Rutstein. Recruitment Officer. End the turn. Alesha. And we literally just block with everything this turn, no matter what. Because as long as we can survive this, we're good. And he might have a buff spell as his last card. We have a total of 5 toughness. So we'll block 2 toughness against the Swift Spear. 3 toughness against the Pyromancer. Because as long as we survive, we win next turn. Monstrous Rage. Yep, so we'll go to 1. Perfectly played. Good night. Mackie? Anthony Mackie? Sand looks good. We can make this work. We'll start with the Cavern of Souls so we don't have to take any damage. Human, Veteran Survivor. The question is, do we want the Guardian out or the Coppercoat Vanguard? I think probably the Guardian. See if he wants to trade. Alright, the Guardian is in play and the turn. We can enlist the Veteran Survivor next turn. And then swing in and flip the Gobakhan after using the Gobakhan to push back some tempo. Oh, he's going to hit our Gobakhan with his Gobakhan. Amazing. Amazing. Alright. We'll take it. I guess we're just gonna have to race, huh? I guess we're just gonna have to race. Right. We will enlist. Third land is good. Rutstein is good. We'll keep both of those on top the way they are. Get in for 6. End the turn. So next turn, we can Alesha. We can pitch a Vanguard to Guardian of New Benalia to get it back with Alesha. Which actually kind of seems awesome. Alright, he wants to flip the Gobakhan. I mean, that's fine with me. I'm pretty sure we're going to outrace him. I am pretty sure we're going to outrace him. My turn. We'll go humans. And we'll just attack, man. Enlist, swing. Enlist this one. Get in for some serious damage. We don't need the land, so we'll bottom the land. But we are going to keep the Rutstein. Perfect. So we'll ditch the Vanguard. To give it indestructible. And then he's going to have to ditch his light shield array. He didn't. Okay, okay. I mean, that's fine. We'll exile his creature with the Veteran Survivor. Then we'll play Alesha. And we'll use Alesha to get back Vanguard number 2 here. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Pretty sure you're dead next turn, buddy. Miner's Guidewing, sure. When it dies, target creature you control explores. I mean, that's halfway decent. It can ping in for damage. It can be a blocker because of vigilance, and then when it chumps, it can buff up a dude, maybe. Really? You're gonna attack? Are you out of your mind? This man's out of his mind. He's absolutely out of his mind. Let's do it like this. You. And then we'll enlist one of the Vanguards. So he kind of has to block the Guardian of New Benalia, right? Let's get rid of those guys. We need better things. Better things. It's 19 damage altogether. Really? You're gonna get greedy. This man's crazy. This man is out of his mind. We don't even need to play the Rutstein. We're already going to get back the Veteran Survivor with Alesha. So we'll just do it that way. Good God. Valley Quest Caller, sure. Good old Burbs. Yeah, that's not gonna be enough. You really needed to hold that back as a blocker this turn. Hey, what's up, MS? Welcome to the stream. Alright, you can eat something. You cannot eat everything. Oh, Ward. You goober. Oh, that's wonderful. That's just wonderful. Let's enlist. Attack. We'll enlist the Vanguard. We could discard Thalia to the Guardian to give it indestructible and then get it back with Alesha because it's going to be big enough. Just craziness, man. Such craziness. Goodbye, Thalia. We don't even have the mana to play it. We win with first strike before he even gets to gain life. Crazy. This looks great. We're gonna keep it. I mean, it's a little bit slower than I'd like. But we have our one Cathar Commando, which is nice. Reusable artifact and enchantment destruction. We'll definitely have another 2 to 3 copies in the sideboard. But main deck, we've got just the one. Duress me. Ouch. Sorry, buddy. We love you long time. Do we Gobakhan first? I think Anim Pakal probably. I don't think we put out the Alesha until we can get a trigger off of it. So it's either Anim Pakal or Invasion. He's probably going to take one of those with the bat. So that kind of makes our decision for us. Come on, Martin. Martin the warrior. Martin. Alright, I'll take it. So next turn, if we still have nothing to get back with Alesha, we can play Thalia. We can start sacrificing gnome tokens to Thalia. Alright, well. We won't be able to get back Anim Pakal yet. I think it's probably better to get Thalia out and save Alesha for a rainy day. Alright, that becomes a priority for him. I'm pretty sure. Martin the warrior. Cut down the Cathar Commando. Interesting. We can bring that back with Alesha next turn. Welcome to tapped, sir. Give me those cards, baby. We'll play Alesha. We'll play a land. Get back that Cathar Commando. We can start sacrificing creatures to Thalia and getting them back with Alesha. Which is kind of amazing. Alright. We'll block the Slasher. We can very easily just kind of get everything back, so. Alright, we're going to sacrifice a land. Since we don't really need them all. Draw a card. We'll wait on the Coppercoat Vanguard. We'll play out a Guardian first. We'll end the turn. We'll get back Anim Pakal. And we'll just go ham next turn. This deck just has unending value, unending threats. It's going to have to take the Coppercoat Vanguard. We still have something to discard to Guardian if we need the Indestructible. And that Slasher is just locked down, man. Sure. Yep. We'll save the Survivor as something to pitch to Guardian if we need to. Enlist. Swing, swing, swing. Enlist the Vanguard. And you are absolutely toast, my friend. Sheltered by ghosts on top. Let's sacrifice the gnome token. Draw a card. We could actually shelter by ghost second main if we wanted to. Insane. Insane. 1 land. We do have 2 1-drops, 3 1-drops. Although the Kellan can't be played with the Thicket. This is probably the most tempted I've ever been to keep a 1-lander. Yeah, this deck's pretty insane, Stella. I'm not going to, though. Mulligan. This looks really good. We will keep this. Toss back the Anim Pakal. Absolutely, Steven. I brew every deck myself. We're going to start with a Thicket. Originally, this was a Mardu deck. I have a Mardu version that's up on the YouTube right now. We're going to start with the Guardian. We can just keep it alive with the Indestructible ability. There's a Mardu version that's up on the YouTube right now that is also really, really good. It's called Mad Mardigan. But I tried to take it a step further. I was like, man, I really want to play 4 Rutsteins to just really hammer home the fact that you can never get rid of my stuff, ever. And also the cost reduction's awesome. So I made a crazy 4-color brew. And that's what this is. And it works because everything's a human for the tribal lands, and anything that isn't white is legendary for the Plaza of Heroes. So we're able to make the mana base work just right. Just right. I should have played this before playing the land, in case we hit a land off this, but it's okay. We'll pitch a Cavern. Get a counter on. Draw a card. Poor Jirina. Poor Jirina. Goodbye, Jirina. You have a bat deck, Steven? Bat decks are fun. You saw the other one, Stella? I think this one might be better. I really do. We're gonna move to combat. We're gonna enlist. Tap the Inti. Get all the value in the world. So we're gonna pitch the Razorverge Thicket. Put a counter. Grab something to play. Get rid of the land. Keep the Vanguard on top. Next to combat. He's gonna let it through. Awesome. Do we sheltered it? I think we do. Since we have the indestructibility. I wanted to leave the option open to get something that we could play off the Inti. Wow. That was nuts. Alright, Diamond Tier 1. Alright, let's keep this. This actually looks pretty good. We can start with the Recruitment Officer. If we want to be super aggressive, we can jam the Vanguard on too. Probably safer to play Guardian of New Benalia first, though. We don't need the second one. So let's get rid of that. We'll go human. Kind of like this better. It forces him to have to contend with our board state, whereas if we play the Guardian of New Benalia, he kind of can't contend with that. So instead he might focus on discard. Alright, let's attack. It's gonna go for the throat. I am down with that, my friend. You are going to be very sad. We will play Alesha, who laughs at fate. We laugh at it. Ha 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 ha. What do we say to fate? Not today. That's not the real quote, but you know what? Do what I want. Oro sword. Oro sword. Better hurry up and kill Alesha, or you're gonna have a problem. Shuck it, Trebek. Shuck it long and shuck it hard. Cut it out. Cut it down. You got more removal? Do it. Do it, old maid. We better pray we don't get our Rutstein. Alright, you're at half life, we're at full life, and we have an uncontested Thalia and the 𝐀𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐚 monster. Do you have more removal? Is your whole deck simply removal? It might be. It might be. We got a Shieldred. Okay. Swing for 6.
Oh, boys!
Sacrifice the officer. Welcome back, Warlock. Go to 4. We're going to play the Guardian. And we're going to keep the Courtyard to try and keep the Guardian alive if he just decides to swing with Shieldred. I don't think he can swing with Shieldred, though. He probably has to block, right? I mean, I doubt he blocks Thalia and the 𝐀𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐚 monster, but he at least has to block something.
Enough with the mysteries. I've come.
That's fine. We'll sack that.
Sacrifices must be made.
Draw. We're going to play the tapped land, because we're going to sack the tapped land to Thalia and the 𝐀𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐚 monster. Resolve. Sack it. Another land. Wonderful. Wonderful. You're gonna block. Do it. Human. Recruitment Officer. End the turn. So now, at instant speed, we can dig for a card so that we can pitch it to Guardian of New Benalia to keep it alive. Or we can wait until the end of his turn to get it so that we don't have to discard it to Liliana. Amazing. Yeah, this actually looks really good. We just need to draw any creature we can pitch to the Guardian by the time the Guardian comes down. Because we don't want to pitch our Rutstein. And we don't want to pitch any of these because we can't get them back with the Rutstein. But if we get to keep our Guardian alive and not have to pitch the Rutstein and get to stack up Shelter by Ghosts on it, it's just over, man. So we're going to try. It's just another Mythic Monday. I wish it were Sunday, 'cause that's my draft day. It's just another Mythic Monday. I need some nectar. What am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? It is worth noting that we can't actually cast these spells until we get another land. But I'm almost positive that won't be an issue. If we don't draw into a third land, I'd be very surprised. Especially because these are cards that we don't necessarily need to just jam right away. It's just good to have them for like turn 4, turn 5. Alright, archive. buying us some time. Sleight of hand. There's our land. That opens up a lot. I think we're going to do it this way. We're going to play the Gobakhan. Let's see what he has in hand. Oh god, a whole bunch of stuff. Doesn't really have anything in the yard yet. What does he want to play next turn? Probably Chart a Course, right? Or Picklock Prankster? He definitely wants to find a land. He's got 2 Chart a Courses, so hitting that is pointless. I think we'll hit the Prankster. Play the Veteran. Smash and hit the Gobakhan. And the turn. We've got a Shelter by Ghost, so even if he does the thing and gets back like an Oculus or whatever, we shelter it. We swing in. We flip the Gobakhan. Life is good. I would have hit Recommission if he didn't have like 3 different spells that all do that same kind of thing in his hand. But, yeah, piece of cake. I guess we keep this. We're going to need to find black for Alesha. We're going to need to find both black and green for Honest Rutstein. But we've got stuff to do in the meantime, so I think we just try to be aggressive here. Start with the Vantage, start with the Survivor. Black Source would be amazing. Planar or Elves, sure. Well, there's a Thicket. I'll take that. We'll swing in. And we'll do you. And we'll do you. Now all we need is a Black Source. We could play either of these. Thank you for the nectar, Chunky. Knew I could count on you. I knew I could count on you. By the way, I see you there, Taco. Tacos are good. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it. I guess we'll just swing. And then we'll jam Guardian. Yeah, this is just super aggressive. Railway Brawler. Alright. Well, we lucked out there. Let's eat the Railway Brawler. Move to combat, enlist. And we'll tap the thing that already has something tapped. So that we don't have to put it in harm's way. Another Guardian of New Benalia and a Jirina. Don't think we need that, but we will take the Jirina for sure. Alright. We hit for 9. And the turn. If he tries to kill our Guardian, we give it indestructible. I'm pretty sure this is just game. Pretty sure this is just game. Railway Brawler comes down again. Second Railway Brawler. Crazy, man. That's okay, though. He has to block the Guardian. Jirina, which we don't have the black for. Kind of forgot about that. It doesn't matter. He scoops it up. He scoops it up. Alright, this is an insanely slow hand. Probably the slowest hand you could possibly get with this deck. And I want to see if we can still come out on top with a hand this slow. So we're going to keep it. Start with the Thicket, pass the turn. Alright, Courtyard. We'll name Human. Play out the Guardian. If they kill it, either of these dudes can just get it back. It's going to be really hard for them to kill it, though. The classic science keep? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Alright, so we'll use this opportunity to try and push out their inevitable Sunfall. No Sunfall. There's a River's Rebuke, which is expensive. Roxanne, Spelunking. Is it better to hit the Overlord or the Spelunking? The Overlord ramps 1 land. Spelunking will ramp 1 land. And then eventually more? Right? And they have to use the lands in their hand with Spelunking too, whereas the Overlord gives them just free land out of nowhere. And the Overlord triggers the Beanstalk. So, yeah. We're going to hit the Overlord. And then we're going to attack in at the Gobakhan. So, if they want to stop us from getting that Gobakhan, they have to pivot and focus on removal this turn. And they have to have top-decked it. Alright, there's the Spelunking. Commercial District, sure. So he will have the 5 next turn for Roxanne. But we can just pitch something to the Guardian. The thing I'm really concerned about is this River's Rebuke. Well, we'll start by swinging at the Gobakhan. I think we want to hit the River's Rebuke with another Gobakhan. We don't really care if he plays the Roxanne. I mean, we care, but not as much as the River's Rebuke. Alright, we'll end the turn. Get a counter on the Guardian. Now he can't even shock it. We don't even have to pitch anything anymore. We do need another land, though. So there's the Roxanne. We'll probably take 2 in the face here. Alright. 4, 5, 6. So he has the 7 mana to cast the Overlord. He has the 8th land in his hand, so he could Rebuke or he could Doppelgang for X = 2. All of those are problematic. So how do we best set up? Like, the Rebuke's probably going to be the biggest problem. I think. So we're gonna swing here. He's gonna let it through. Alright, that'll be 2 counters. Guess we can't really do anything against the Rebuke. But we probably want to set up against a potential doppelgang. Let's just get the Alesha out there. Could have played the Rutstein instead and had 3 power so that Roxanne couldn't swing in. But I think being able to attack next turn with Alesha is probably better. And I have a feeling he's just going to River's Rebuke anyway. Yeah. It is what it is. He doesn't have enough mana left to do anything significant other than that, so... Now that that Rebuke is gone... Oh wait, that was another Rebuke, wasn't it? That's a problem. That's a problem. He's gonna Rebuke again. That puts us way behind. I guess we need Gobakhan and then a Guardian. We definitely need to see what else is in his hand. Doppelgang, Soul Partition. I guess we just hit one of the Doppelgangs. We could hit both of them. But the Meteorite mana is going to start to be a problem. Four, 5, 6. We'll go to 6 next turn. That feels bad. Let's get out a blocker. We can block. We can pitch something to the Guardian. And then next turn we can attack with the Guardian because it's still alive. Trigger the Alesha, get back whatever we pitched. Well, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And now that it's exiled, we can't pitch it. This might be my first loss with this deck. Just because he has, like, unending value. And the only way to really beat a deck like that is to beat it before it gets to the unending value. And unfortunately, we didn't do that. But I think if I had realized what he was playing earlier on, specifically, I probably could have played a bit more aggressively. Good night. Alright, we're going to keep this. This looks pretty decent. We would like a 2-drop, but even if we don't get it, we've got whatever we want on 3. And we're playing Kellan on 1, and we can level it up if we really want to. So, start with the Inspiring Vantage. Man, the algorithm just loves to put me up against Storm Chaser's talent. It's like it knows that my deck is weak to decks that utilize that mechanic. Bouncing the Storm Chaser's talent over and over. We're going to try blocking. Can he buff it twice? No, he'll just go for the throat. I mean, if he's going to go for the throat, at least we also prevent 2 damage, right? Not the worst ever. So we'll probably Rutstein on 3. Alesha on turn 4. Alright. Once again, multiple Storm Chaser's talents in his opening hand. It's like, anytime the algorithm wants me to lose, it knows what to do. So crazy. Alright, let's just Rutstein. I think if I only had one Rutstein, I would Alesha first. Even though I don't get immediate value. But since I have two Rutsteins, we'll get one out of the way. Bandit, you're snoring again. You sound like a trumpet, buddy. I got a living, breathing trumpet sprawled out on the couch. Esper self bounce, I suppose. I suppose. So we could Rutstein and then play 2 1-drops. That seems pretty good. Or sorry, 1 1-drop. Still, that should shut down his otters at least. And then we can start being super aggressive. We can pitch things that we're going to get back with Alesha. Probably either Kellan or Veteran Survivor. Right, Storm Chaser's down. He's down to 1 card though. Let's toss the Kellan, since he's already seen it. Human. Alright, we're gonna go... We have to save red and black, right? Don't know why you're trying to do things that way. Let's go green. Let's go black. Get back a Rutstein. Then we'll attack with the Guardian. Get in for 2. Play the Alesha at a reduced cost. Trigger the raid. And get back Kellan. And now we're just going super aggro. B, aggressive. B, aggressive. Level 2 gets back what? Go for the throat. Plays go for the throat. Probably kills Alesha. And then what? We can trade Kellan for his otter. If he attacks with it. And he's still got 1 card in hand. Alright, we're gonna go Coppercoat Vanguard. Next to combat. Do we want to do a thing? Probably. Let's do it like this. That way he can't kill our Kellan. Yeah, we don't need that. We'll definitely keep Thalia. 10 damage coming in. Would you like to block? You would like to block. Wonderful. I mean... We could Rutstein to get back Alesha to play it. Seems not great though. I think I'd rather go like this and this. Just do it that way. That way we still have Rutstein in our hand, to get back an Alesha if it dies. And we can use Alesha to get back a Rutstein if it dies. Yeah, just insanity. Well, it's now or never.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Doc Brown is a wise man. Let's do this. We're keeping it. We're keeping it, boys. We're going to start with the Thicket, not give away the fact that we're playing a bunch of legendaries. We'll go Guardian on 2. Even if we don't draw our third land to back up with Rutstein, we've got Jirina if we're worried about needing hexproof from bounce spells, things like that. Otherwise, we've got Sheltered by Ghosts, give us the Ward 2. Honestly, the Ward 2 from the Sheltered by Ghosts might be good enough on its own. We shall see. Fanatic Firebrand. Fanatical Firebrand. Alright, Guardian's coming down. Good luck, friend. Good luck, friend. Honestly, I think all we need is Shelter by Ghosts on the Guardian, and it's over. Over. Over! Nothing's over. Just give me something to drink. Save some of that for the sequel. Alright, here we go. We've got Ward 2, we've got the ability to give it indestructible. For what it's worth. Even if he does end up getting rid of the Guardian, we're ahead on tempo. We still have a bunch of life. It's going to be super, super hard for this Izzet aggro deck to deal with, I think. Alright, we've got another land. Do we play it safe or do we just go ham? Let's do it this way. Get some more creatures out ASAP so we can start utilizing the enlist. And if we are going to jam a creature, it makes sense to play Anim Pakal as soon as possible, because the sooner it hits, the sooner it starts to build up more counters. If he does happen to kill anything, we've got Rutsteins up the wazoo. We've got Jirina next turn if he doesn't. Gobakhan, we could smash Gobakhan and just flip it. We could just attack into the Gobakhan with our 1/1s if we wanted. And just flip it that way. Island Roaming Throne. Naming Goblin? Or Pirate? Pirate, probably. So it's a pirate deck. I guess I should have known that after seeing Captain Storm. Come on, baby.
Now I have a machine gun.
Here we go.
Ho, ho.
It's our time to shine. Tricky. Tricky. Do we Gobakhan? I don't think we really need to worry about Jirina. I think we enlist Anim Pakal with the Guardian. Just swing in. We don't want to Gobakhan yet. More than likely, we play Alesha or Jirina. Enlist and swing. Enlist you. Give me all the things. Don't need the land. We will take another Guardian. That's really good against this deck. Alright, we got a 6-2. What you gonna do? You gonna block it? No, that's all you're gonna do? You're gonna take 8? Is this man out of his mind? I guess. I mean, we have nothing to get back. I think the best thing we can do is just try to protect our board with Jirina. That's it. We don't get a lot of value off the Rutstein. We don't get a lot of value off the Alesha. We could have played Invasion of Gobakhan, hit something in his hand, but he's got enough mana that I think Jirina is probably a better solution to most things he could use to deal with our board than a preemptive Gobakhan would be. Pay the ward. Hexproof. 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 There will be none of that. I guessed right. Jirina was the right call. I feel pretty damn good about it. What you got? Pretty sure he's just dead. We're going to make 3 more tokens, and one of these is going to get through, so that's 4 damage. We don't even need to enlist. I guess he could block and then kill a token, actually. Right? With the Firebrand. So he'd be alive at 1. So maybe we do enlist. Maybe we do enlist. Did our opponent just really get up and walk away? In the game that's going to get us to Mythic? Oh, you coward. You coward. Alright, so we'll enlist it up to 4, so that if he blocks with the Roaming Throne, we can kill it. That does mean he can block in a way that he's left alive at 1 life. But he was going to be able to do that with the Firebrand anyway. Shelter by Ghost, absolutely. Let's put that on top. Alright. He's just gonna take it. He's just gone. Alright. I guess that does it. We have arrived. Gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. We have arrived. Oh, boy. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.